So we're back. This is episode 4. We are going to talk about managing client expectations, what that looks like in your business, and how it translates directly to the income in your business, your profit and your loss. I'm going to be giving you some expertise as the person with clients every day. And why was I about to call you Ariana?
I don't know.
Adriana is going to go over what she sees as like a tax specialist, the professional monitoring beauty professionals and other creatives taxes. There is a direct correlation, so we're going to talk to y'all about that. But welcome back to Scaling Beautifully, the podcast where we pull back the curtains on what it takes to grow a thriving beauty business. I'm Haley, a corrective skin specialist and spa owner who's in the trenches every day with clients.
And I'm Adriana, a tax strategist who specializes in beauty businesses, helping pros like you master the money, tax, and legal side of growth. Together, we'll tackle the small, unglamorous tasks that build a strong foundation so you can stop hustling in circles and start scaling beautifully. Think of this as a resource for what happens after your client or customer leaves.
Okay.
Right.
And then also we're going to talk about our wins and our fails first,
yes,
right? Because we
yes.
really want y'all to know how normal that is in business and just in life in general, especially if you think we have it all together on social media. But I was going to say, I get called Holly a lot.
Holly.
And it's like a pain point in my marriage because that's my husband's ex.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so we'll go places. Like one time we were buying a purse for my birthday at Coach, and you had to write down your name to get your little tag stamp there with their little thing to customize your bag. And I wrote my name down, and they kept calling me Holly. And my husband tried to correct them like 10 times.
Yeah,
I was like, it's
I'm
Haley,
pretty
actually.
sure.
And I'm just sitting there like looking at him.
and he, poor guy, it's not even his fault.
And when the person walked off, and he corrected her like 8 times, and a second person walked up and called me Holly, and he corrected him twice as well. And like nobody was listening to my husband, like they're servicing me. They're like, whatever, right, to the man. And he just goes, I'll let you buy 2 more if you never bring it up ever again.
I would have been like, oh, Holly likes Coach purses too. Huh?
Would you bring Holly here? Don't worry, I'll be bringing that up later to traumatize him a little bit.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I'm always telling my husband too, like he's like, oh, did I send you this like meme or this video or whatever? And I'm
what
just
other
like,
girlfriend did you send it
that's
to?
exactly what I'll say. I'm like, and actually no, you didn't. So what other woman did you send this to? And then he's just like, oh my gosh, like you're tripping.
No,
but like I personally get like a kick out of it because like
I think it's
starts,
hilarious.
Yeah, he starts like scrambling
he gets nervous.
and
I'm like, this is fun.
Traumatizing our men.
Yeah, you gotta keep them humble, okay?
I know,
we'll do a whole episode on that later.
On how to be a toxica. No. Next episode.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Okay, so
we want to talk about our wins and our fails.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, do you know what yours are?
Yeah, so I mean, I could go over a fail, I guess. And it's not like a crazy fail, but I had my content shoot. So I had a few different content shoots in, this month, but one specifically with my social media agency. And oh my God, like, so they wanted me to kind of buy like or wear like fall colors, and I think I said this last episode, like I had to go shopping because I don't have nothing, and like everything that I have,
I'm like, I only own fall colors.
Yeah, no, see, I mean, like all I own is like black and like t-shirts, and I think I threw the sweater on because I like ran in here this morning and I had like a sports bra. Like I just don't wear like clothes. I mean, yes, I wear clothes, but like not like nice
like
clothes.
very Adam Sandler people.
Yeah. And then so I had to run to the store, and I found this really beautiful like dress. It was brown, but it was thick, and I bought it because it was brown, and I'm like, they said fall, and I found the cutest shoes to wear with it too. And we were shooting outside in Texas.
Oh, it's hot.
And it's
still hot.
Yeah,
it's still October.
Hot. Yeah. And well, when I was shooting, it was like close to 100 degrees, and I sweat a lot. And so like by the end of the day, like my eyelid was like stuck together from like my eyeshadow that I had, and like it was crazy. So
that's like normal here though. I'm like, that's why my hair doesn't look good, because last time we recorded so humid, all my curls failed. And now I was like, I'm not even dealing with it, and so I didn't put any effort, and I'm like, ooh, it's not looking so.
But I'm like, it's fine. I was like, you'll see us like as the episodes go, we're gonna be looking more and more like Adam Sandler, and
Yeah, because I'm not
And
trying to be cute.
yeah. No, but then like also my curls didn't hold either and like my
Because
hair
it's
was
so
frizzy
hot.
and it was just so crazy. And I like the pictures, but like I go back and like I'm such like
Nitpicky with
nitpicky
it.
with me
Yeah,
with like how I look and
me
stuff.
too.
And then I'm just like, oh my God. So that's like a fail for me. I'm just like, there wasn't anything we could do about it, honestly.
Yeah, it was just what it
Yeah,
is.
it was, yeah, what it is. But a win is like my social media agency. I think they did an amazing job because I think I talked about it last episode too, that I like wrote them a very long email with like kind of positioning me to like be more like me,
Yeah, within
and
your brand.
yeah, within my brand, and relatable and all of that stuff, and like truly who I am. And they immediately like turned it around, and I feel like it's looking good so
Okay, good.
far.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's a win because I'm really excited. I'm really excited to work with the social media agency because I was working, it was just me and my admin, and I think we did a really good job, but like we were just randomly just
Yeah.
posting.
It
Like
was
there
time
was
to
no
outsource.
strategy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely time to outsource.
Their
So
social media is a
yeah,
lot.
it
Like,
is.
I
Yeah.
still get stressed a lot during the day, and my assistant helps me with mine. And I'm still like, I have to be on my stories and I have to be talking and
Yeah.
this and that. I'm just like,
Mhm.
ugh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot.
yeah, it's definitely a lot. But I'm just like, now I got, I was able to outsource that. So I'm going to be able to have a little more time. And like my admin has more time to like
Mm-hmm.
do other stuff, especially around tax season where I'm going to need
Yeah,
the help.
that's going
And
to be great.
yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that's my win. And then my fail.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my win is more personal. Like today is my oldest son's birthday. So
Yeah.
he's 12. So I have a 12-year-old
I
now.
know.
That's so weird. Like I can think back to when he was first born and I'm
Yeah.
like, now I'm sitting here saying he's 12.
He's a preteen.
He's been a
Yeah.
preteen girl. We're deep in the preteen, okay, at my house. Like we've been there for years, so that's nothing new. But he just looks so old and
Yeah.
he's almost as tall as me, and I'm pretty tall. I'm like
Mm-hmm.
5'10". So I don't know. We've just like come so far because I had him really young. And I was married at the time. We separated and divorced like right after he was born. So he like wasn't even 4 months old yet. And I'm just like, dang, I really turned that around. Okay.
Yeah, no,
And
you
he's
did.
12 today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I have
Oh,
a
well,
12
happy
year old.
birthday.
I know that just feels so old. I'm like, he's
Yeah.
12.
Yeah, I know. My son turned 11 in September,
Hmm.
and I felt like that was a
I'm
big
like,
deal.
yeah,
But
he
like,
was 11
yeah,
last
I
year.
know.
Duh.
I know. And I was like 12. I was like, so
It
earlier when
just
you
feels
told
so
me he was
big.
12, yeah.
I don't
Like,
know.
what is he going to middle school now,
Yeah, he's in
right?
middle
Yeah.
school.
Oh,
So I don't know, it just feels so big.
yeah.
My husband was even like, "Oh, you only have like 4 years until he
Oh,
drives." And I was like, "Shut up."
I know.
I don't want to hear it.
No, so we're big planners in my family, and like we
Hmm.
we like plan like way in advance for
Oh, I was
everything.
already like, we need to figure out, are we going to buy a
Like,
car,
yeah,
finance a car?
exactly.
Like, what does that look
So
like?
yeah, so what we're gonna do, I know a little bit off topic, I'm sorry, but what we're what we're gonna do is, well, Josh, my husband, he just bought a new car, and we decided, because it's a 2025, right, we invested in a brand new car because that car is going to be Jaden's
Is, yeah.
when it's time for him to drive. So we didn't want it to be like crazy crazy old, but it's still going to be old enough,
Yeah.
and so obviously it's Josh's car right now. He's going to drive it. Jaden just turned
11.
11. So what, like 5 more years
Yeah.
until he drives?
It'll be
Five,
here like
six
quicker than
years.
you know it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, we're already thinking what we want to do, what kind of
Hmm.
what he wants.
Yeah.
I'm nervous because they're boys.
I
You know what I
know.
mean?
I
So
know.
like,
I'm just like, am I going to have to sleep with his keys? Like
yeah,
under my
literally.
pillow? Like,
I was already telling
yeah.
my 12-year-old, I'm like, I need your phone at night. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't want you to have
Hmm.
it at night. There's no
Yeah.
need.
There's
You
no
need it.
need.
You have an
Yeah.
alarm clock. Like, oh, he was so mad at me. And I
Oh,
was
I
like,
can
it's for your
imagine.
mental health.
The more I feel like the more creative you get, like the more creative your kid gets.
Oh, yeah.
Because let me
I'm
tell
scared.
you, yeah. But I'm just like, oh, good luck.
I'm
Good luck
scared.
for us,
I
because I
know.
know my son's gonna
People are
be a
like, boys are
preteen too.
so easy. And I'm like, are
I
they?
know.
They're not, but okay.
All
And then
right.
I think my fail is probably my
Mhm.
car wreck where I got rear ended.
Oh
Because
yeah.
it's
Mhm.
just like slow, because it's personal and business. I can't
Mhm.
see as many clients as a day as I typically would. So I'm having to pivot some things in business and not book myself as much because I ended up hurting my neck in the wreck. A teenager just didn't hit his brakes and hit me full speed,
Yeah, rear-ended
rear-ended,
her.
and I was looking all the way to the right watching oncoming traffic, and so it shifted my neck and it just hurts really bad to look down now. But luckily I've done a lot of planning to like have savings built up
Mhm.
to where like there's no financial burden. It's just more of a mindset where I'm like, oh,
Right.
I'm not able to do as much as I typically would do, even though I could still pay myself the same. Bills are all paid. My employees are all paid. It's just like I like to keep that same momentum going.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to like
Yeah.
overcome that.
Yeah, just earlier, she's just like, I'm not gonna be able to be as booked. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, girl, but you
And
need
I
to
have
take
to
care
make
of
it to all
yourself.
of my chiropractor
Mm-hmm.
appointments. And like, how do I get over there with being fully booked?
Right.
And this is like busy
Mm-hmm.
season. I do want to have a whole episode too about how there is no busy slash slow season. Because we all refer to those terms so frequently, but they're not real.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of seeing TikToks where people saying, I know slow season is approaching. And I'm like, where? That's not a thing. So we could talk about pivoting in business. Okay.
Right.
But today I'm like, let's not get too sidetracked.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes while we talk. And then we want y'all's feedback too in the comments, wherever you're at, a social media platform, YouTube,
Yeah.
Patreon.
If you're just like, stop talking about personal stuff and just
No, we're still going to do that.
I'm just like, well,
Because we're also here to like let you know about managing like as a mom and a wife and things like that in business. Where what's that TikTok trend that's like women and men jobs or
oh
whatever?
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's me. I am
Yeah.
the rich man.
I'm
Go
just
ahead.
like, I know we just talked about not getting sidetracked. but, I was at a family event over the weekend, and my cousin was just kind of telling me and like just saying like, yeah, my daughter was saying that she wants to like marry rich and all this stuff. And I think that's like the thing with like choosing. Like you get to choose whatever life you
Okay,
want.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like if that's what you want to do, you want to marry rich, great.
That's just not
Like,
my journey.
yeah, I was like, but that's not me, right? And then I was just thinking whenever you said rich man, I was literally saying that to myself. I was like, well, I'm the rich man.
I want to be the rich man.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm the rich
And if
man.
my
Yeah.
husband can also be a rich man, great.
Perfect. Then we'll both be fucking rich,
Yeah. But
But
yeah.
my husband's the trophy wife. No, I'm just kidding.
My
Just kidding.
husband is always like, I want to be a stay-at-home dad.
No, I talked to Josh and I was like, I think it's beneficial if you were to stay at home. And he's like, fuck no.
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
think my
like,
husband would go crazy. Again, no
all
shade
right.
though. But we're going
Yeah.
to be talking about managing client expectations, what that looks like in business, how it translates to, we're going to give you examples on how to actually talk to clients, some resources, and how it translates to the money in business, because all of this trickles down to how successful your business is financially. And that's what we're here to learn about, a healthy foundation. And I will say, I just want to like, if you're watching, I just want to like strangle people sometimes. Because if you're an esthetician, you're in these private pro groups like the Face Reality Pro Group, DMK, Vivon, whoever the fuck on Facebook. And all the time I see other estheticians who are still trying to get established share screenshots of their conversation, their text conversation with their client, and like how it's going left real bad and they need help. And I was like, your consultation needs work. This would
Right.
not be happening if your consultation was stronger, if your consultation was
Yeah.
structured. This should not even be a conversation that's happening. And now you're here broadcasting it to
Yeah.
30,000 other estheticians. And like, it is a great
Mhm.
learning experience for sure. But like, I know how stressful that is. Like, your heart rate's elevated, your blood pressure's
Mhm.
up, you're sweating, you're
No, it's
panicky.
stressful.
And like, you
Yeah.
could cut all of that out by having better client communication and managing the expectations better. And I don't think any of us learned this in school as
Right.
well.
No, and I actually see some of those posts because I'm in esthetician groups and
It
stuff,
drives
and
me
I
crazy
see that a lot. And then I'm just
because
like,
I'm
oh,
like, with so much peace and love, that's your fault. And like, I'm sorry for the harsh reality, but it is.
yeah.
You every time, and you're gonna have those situations. I've had them myself too. I still have them occasionally. You're not gonna be able to get through to every client that comes in to see you.
Yeah,
That's all about you
absolutely.
figuring out who's ideal and who's not. But you need to sit down with that conversation and figure out how you got there and how you can prevent that from happening
Again,
again.
right. And I do feel like this topic isn't talked about enough.
Yeah, because we like to pretend
Right.
everything's rainbow and
Yeah.
butterflies. All of our clients love us. That's
But
not
this
the
is the
case all
point
the
also of the
time.
podcast. So managing client expectations is just as important as managing your finances. Because the truth is, unclear boundaries lead to burnout, resentment, and money leaks in your business.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is where we kind of have to get it under control. And like Haley said, it's falls all the way back to your first point of contact with them, right?
It
Like your
really falls all the way
consultation.
back to what did they see on your social media? How are you showcasing yourself and speaking? What did your booking system or your website look like? Was all of that outlined on there? What about your forms? When they came in for the appointment and you did the initial consultation, did you hit on every point and make
Hmm.
sure you understood their expectations of you? But also, and I think this is where people go left, is you need to let your client know your expectations of them.
Right.
That's a very reasonable thing to talk about. There's a sensible way to deliver that where it's like, oh, if you're going to be my client, you're going to do XYZ. That's not what I mean. Kind of, and we'll talk about that more in here in a second, but that is so important. And if you actually take the time to do that fully from the jump, you're going to have a wonderful client relationship
Mhm.
long term instead of just where they don't see the value in you and don't trust you and think that your
Right.
process is not working or it wasn't worth the money or
Right.
whatever.
I want y'all to also consider like the other side of it, right? Where you're over delivering, undercharging, and trying to please everyone. That directly shows up in your numbers too. So it's so important to manage those expectations up front. When you don't set clear expectations up front, whether it's about turnaround time, communication, or scope of work, it's always going to cost you time or money.
Hmm.
And then also like every quick question, every small revision, every extra service outside of the agreement, that's unpaid labor
Yeah.
on top of that too.
It's kind of like, I think of the best example that we would all understand is a hairdresser not having, maybe they did have a good consultation, but the client wasn't open enough about everything and they didn't ask enough questions to kind of get the client to open up more because they weren't recognizing that. You do the hair, you do the blonding service, whatever, and then 3 days later they're like, "Hey, I hate it. I would like for you to fix it." And now you're coming into a 4, 5, 6 hour appointment unpaid to fix
Right.
something.
Right.
That unfortunately that is your fault.
Mm. Yeah. And then, I mean, I'm just like, think about like doing nails too. Like that could fall under that too. And
Yeah.
just like so many other things.
When it comes to estheticians, it looks more like us getting text messages late at night. It always
Hmm.
happens late at night. Pictures of their skin, questions about things they saw on TikTok, them saying, okay, now I think I'm actually going to go do Accutane, whatever it may be. All of that could have been prevented by having a more structured consultation. And I know that sounds crazy, but no, I've never gotten feedback from another esthetician that I've had as a student or a mentee that said, yeah, my school taught me a really great consultation.
Yeah. No, my admin Crystal, she went to
Oh, yeah,
esthetician
that's
school.
right.
Yeah. And then she told me, she's like, I felt like I learned
You
nothing.
you learn enough to
She's
pass your
like,
boards.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly what she said.
We all
So,
had a bad experience in
hmm,
school. It's a
yeah,
canon event.
yeah. And then, so from a financial perspective, right, when you're doing those extra services or, those quick answering those quick questions at night, from a financial perspective, that's called scope creep. So it's one of the biggest reasons business owners feel like they're working nonstop and not seeing any growth.
Yep.
And, that's something that you definitely need to take a step back and again, set those expectations with the client. But yeah, I mean, if you're working outside your contract without any additional pay, you're literally reducing your hourly rate and not realizing it.
And I think that's really important too. Like, so say I get text messages late at night. I do. I let
Mhm.
my clients know because I do have I have a surplus of nurse clients. We are where I'm located is very close to the biggest hospital in Texas,
Mhm.
Baylor, Bumsey.
Right.
It's a university hospital, and I got a really great client there. I love her to death. She has referred the whole damn hospital to me. And so a lot of them work overnight, and so like I'm fine if they text me late at night. However, they know from the jump I am not answering unless it's my
Right.
hours. I do not answer over the weekend, and I need at least
Right.
48 hours to reply.
Right.
And if I don't answer in 48 hours, just send it to me again. It
Yeah.
probably slipped through the cracks. Also, too, another thing with managing expectations, stop replying to text messages the moment you get them.
Yes.
Oh my God. In
Yeah.
mentorship, that was like the biggest thing. Like they would get a difficult text from a client who was either being difficult or just needed more support.
Mhm.
So first recognize the difference between those two things. And they would just be full blown panic. And I'm like, okay, well, give yourself a half a day or a day to panic about it. Let all those feelings subside and
Right.
then think about how you're going to respond to the client. Stop responding right away
Immediately.
because you're just leading with emotion
That's what I was gonna
and
say.
being
Yeah.
panicked. And I'm all about mindset and like what you put out there. And if you're going to work panicked, you're going to stay working panic for
Mhm.
years to come. Like you've got to shift all of that. And the client can tell when you're being panicked or when you're trying to just like,
Mhm.
oh, this, okay, I'm just trying to please you. I'm just trying to keep you on my books type. You don't have to reply right away.
Right.
Give yourself some time to think about it, to think about the situation, how you want to respond to that, and then also think about what changes can you make so it doesn't happen again.
Right.
You don't have to answer right away. Sometimes too, I'll have clients text me late at night and I wait a day or two to respond during business hours, and they'll be like, oh, never mind, like it totally
It's
subsided, I was
fine.
just panicking, I'm so
Mhm.
sorry. And I'm like, okay, that
That's
was
yeah.
not a need for me to stress
Right.
myself out, you know. Also, I am very busy with lots of clients. We're doing the podcast. I have 3 kids, all these things. So I just let my clients know during consultation too, like, feel free to reach out if you need more support. Make sure you're always checking the resources I gave you first as far as education, because that's something additional I offer my clients. But then please allow me like up to 48 hours to
Mhm.
respond back, because I am not readily available at all times. It's just like, if now that we're in your appointment, you wouldn't want me on my phone the whole time. I'm
Right.
trying to do the same for others. And they're like, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
now when I get text messages, it's like, hey, I know you're busy. Just
Mhm.
reply when you have a moment. These are my questions. Let me know your thoughts. It's much more, it's a better relationship with my clients, instead of them being like, oh my God, I have a new pimple. My neck is red,
Right.
this and that, and freaking out. It's a nicer flow and it's more peaceful. And I'm able to give them better service and the best version of myself because I set that very clear
Expectation
expectation.
in the very beginning too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like that goes for any industry, even like with me, like that I set those expectations too. Like, hey, I tell my clients, like, you guys could reach out to me whenever,
Yeah.
but we'll reply within, X amount of business days, 2 business days, or,
During business
during our
hours.
business hours.
Also, too, I make sure in the response to say thank
Hmm.
you for being patient with
Yeah.
me. I'm just now back in studio for the
Hmm.
week, like, because maybe they reach out over the weekend or something, just to make it like very clear. And like, I was
Yeah.
not ignoring you.
Exactly.
This is my first time scheduling some admin time, whatever it
Hmm.
may be. I'm just now sitting down to answer
Hmm.
everybody,
I
whatever.
do that too. I'm just like, hey, I apologize. I'm just now getting back to you. I wasn't working over the weekend.
Yeah.
And like just leave it short, sweet, and simple.
It's kind of like training your man,
Yeah.
you know?
Have you seen those TikTok videos of like somebody like throwing an object to their like boyfriend or husband or whatever,
Oh,
and they'll say like lemon, and like they throw it at them each time they say lemon, and then they'll just randomly say lemon, and then their husband's like flinching because they think that they're gonna throw something at
no.
them.
I'll have to try that report back.
No, but it's very similar to that. It's training your client,
Yeah.
which I know sounds kind of harsh, but you
It's
have to
just, yeah,
do.
you're setting a healthy work boundary,
Hmm.
because you can't give the best version of yourself if you're stressed.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Because I regularly have like, I'm like, where's my phone? It's over there. I regularly have like, girl, sometimes upwards of 200 text
Mhm.
messages.
Yeah.
And so I set myself scheduled time to go through them. And I just make sure I let everybody know, like, thank you for waiting. Like,
Hmm.
I do admin time
At this
at the
time.
end of my
Hmm.
Thursdays, Mondays. So that's why I'm getting back to you. This is everything, whatever. I just make sure that I'm really clear about it. And that way they're not like, oh my God, she's not answering what she's posting on social
Right,
media, blah, blah, blah,
right.
blah, all these
Hmm.
things.
Yeah. And that's something, again, I'm just like, you're just setting those expectations because with with a lot of these clients that you have, they're not business owners, so
They
they
don't
don't
understand.
understand.
Yeah.
And see, I feel like with me, I work specifically with business owners, so I feel like my clientele, they're a little more understanding. But somebody in the beauty industry, you're gonna work with,
Yeah.
all kinds of people, and
I had
they,
a client Friday and she was transferring from another place to me, and we were just kind of talk about, because I've got an influx of transfers
Mhm.
because that acne clinic closed down because the esthetician moved, and I'm so grateful she referred everybody to me. But it's been kind of difficult navigating the client relationship,
Mhm.
because to them we're just picking up where she left off,
Right,
but with me, you're starting fresh just like
right.
everybody else. And she was very readily available for text messages. She would reply, this client said, within like 2 minutes. And I'm like, you're just not going to get that here. Like, that's
Mhm.
not possible for me. Also, like, when I get home, I have 3 kids. So I have to be,
Mom.
yeah, I
Yeah.
have to have very dedicated time. And I do schedule myself time away from clients, time away from making
Mhm.
money to be able to answer everybody. So I understand that's how she ran it, but we just, because we're doing the same thing doesn't mean we operate the same.
Right.
And so
I
I
like
hope
that.
that works for you.
Mhm.
And if it doesn't, like, I just encourage you to do more research and find that better fit. And she was like, no, like, that's fine. She was like, I want to be here. You're who she referred. I saw your
Right.
social media. Like, she saw the value. So she
Right.
was okay with that.
Right.
So, and it wasn't a crazy ask to be like, hey, give me 2 days.
No, especially if it's just you.
Yeah.
You know, like if you had receptionist, admins, and, you know, like all other employees, then I'm just like, okay, it's going to be a little bit different. Just like with me and my team, I tell my clients, like, hey, if I'm out of the office, like somebody is going to reach out to you.
Yeah.
But you still have to give us, you know,
some time. Yeah.
time, right? Because we're not going to be there at like 10 p.m.
Also, I'm no good on the spot.
Yeah.
You need
No,
to give
you
me
need to
some time.
reflect a little bit. Yeah, too. Especially if it's like something bad or negative.
Yeah.
Like you need to, you know, like feel it out, let your feelings, you know, feel your feelings for a bit. And then, okay, this is my reasonable response.
We're going to acknowledge their feelings and then we're going to address.
Right.
And so that takes time to not lead with emotion. Use things like ChatGPT also.
Oh my gosh,
I know some
yes.
people
It's a
are like
tool.
super against it, but it is something available to you as a resource to help you remove the emotion from your response. And then learn from that though. Just don't run to it every time. Be like, okay, this is how it structured it and I can see why.
Don't get too dependent on ChatGPT because then if you get too dependent, then
also people can tell when it's ChatGPT.
Right.
So, you know, try to
Humanize it
learn
a little
from
bit.
it.
Yeah. I do want to tie it also to like your profit, right? Like your P&L and your finances. So when I'm reviewing a client's books, I can always tell when boundaries aren't in place because you'll see high revenue but low profit because the owner is constantly discounting, comping, or just doing unpaid work, right? And also not even just by looking at the P&L, but just the conversations that I'm having with the clients. Like I'm making, you know, X amount of money, but like I don't feel like it's enough, or I don't feel like, you know, it's worth it. And it's because you are working outside of your scope, right? You're doing too much.
Yeah.
You're doing too much. So like you just need to take a step back and just set those
You mean outside of
expectations.
scope of hours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Outside of
because for
scope of
us,
hours.
scope means license.
Oh, yes. Scope of hours. Sorry. So, you know, if you work, if your schedule is like Monday through Thursday from like 9 to 3 or whatever hours, right? Then if somebody's texting you at like 10 p.m. and like you're responding at 10 p.m. and then like you're waiting there, then you're waiting for them to respond back.
Yeah.
You know, and then like so all of that, like that's where you're gonna get burnt out. That's where it's gonna feel like
that literally happened to me yesterday. A client, I was booking a new client and we're changing my new client process on our new bookings system when we move over. So we'll talk about that when I get there. I cover in my consultation course my booking process and how I do a consult, which is kind of what we're talking about today. It all ties together. But I had a client that I was trying to book on Friday and I thought she was replying Sunday because I didn't have her number saved, but really it was somebody from like 20 days ago. On a Sunday evening when I'm trying to spend time with my family trying to respond to this woman, I sent her times just to never hear back from her again.
Right. Oh my
I even sent it to my group chat. I said, why do people do this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's kind of my fault because I shouldn't be answering outside my hours. We're like losing respect and professionalism by doing that.
And then you get mad.
Yeah.
You know,
I was kind of mad because I was like, girl, like, why are you wasting my time on a Sunday? And I was only answering because I thought it was this other person who ended up responding to me this morning because I just didn't have her number saved. So if I would have taken a moment to do a little bit more research, I could have been like, oh, this is going to wait until Monday, Tuesday morning when I'm back in studio. But yeah, that literally just happened to me last night. And I sent it to my group chat and I'm like, oh, why do people do this? Like, it makes me so mad. I spent time doing that, kind of rushing really quickly just to be like frustrated, you know, instead of sticking to what I know my boundaries are. But it goes back to like what my assistant was saying. If that's what you're going to allow, that's all you're going to keep getting. So like you're in control of the outcome.
Exactly. And you know, my husband gives me so much shit if he sees me working on the weekend. Like that's why. So Haley and I, we had a call on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
And I did it when he was at the gym because I'm just like, if he sees me talking about work,
he's gonna be like, what are you doing?
He's gonna be like, it's Sunday. Like, or like he's gonna be like, you know, like, and he's gonna give me like, so I feel like, you know, and I honestly do appreciate that for my husband, you know, because
my husband will be like the most disruptive as possible. And he's like, these aren't your working hours.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's how my kids were on Sunday.
Oh, I don't even care. I'm like, I have so many kids that I'm just like, that's like background noise.
No, and then like Giovanni was like, Mama,
Mama.
I'm
like, he's just going to stand there and keep doing it. They don't care.
No, but yeah, so it's like, you want to set those boundaries, you want to set those expectations, and we're not perfect, obviously. I mean, you just heard us
Yeah.
say that, we're still doing some of this stuff,
Yeah.
but it's very minimal too. Like, to me, I'm just like, the podcast is a priority,
I know I
like,
shouldn't have
yeah,
been doing that, and I did
right.
it anyways, and
Exactly.
nothing came of it. And I was
Exactly.
like,
It's
well,
a reminder.
rightfully so.
Yeah. And it's just a reminder of it.
But that type of stuff still happens.
Yeah. Okay. So, or you're working extra hours trying to fix things, and to me, there's times too, like me personally, and I'm just like, it happens overall with all kinds of businesses. Like, there's also times where people like reach out to me, or they'll send me some letters or whatever, and I'm just like, okay, well, we're under just solely bookkeeping contract. Like, now this is just taxes, and I didn't do your taxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like those expectations on my end, or just other industries too. Like, you want to make sure that they're pretty dry and clear. Like,
Yes.
this is what I'm going to do for you, and this is what I'm not going to do for you, or anything outside of this. I'm billed hourly, or you're going to have to book a consult, or you're going to have to do this or that, because again, you're going to burn out. You're going to burn out.
Yeah. And I think that relays a lot back to whenever you have a new client come in, remember, because this should all be happening with your new clients. But if you're needing to make a change, because remember, I changed my business 2 years ago because I just hated everything about it. I hated my business. I hated the people I work with. And I hate to say that, but it's the truth. And I don't have any of them left that like truly made me hate what I did anymore. So like I feel comfortable saying that, and I don't want people to get into that situation just to make money, cuz yes, I was making a lot of money at the time, but like it wasn't worth it the way I felt.
Right.
So what I had to do was number 1, change how I address my new clients to manage the expectations better, and then number 2, have many consults with my current clients to reinforce that we were on the same page, and that if we weren't, we knew that right now
Yeah.
and we could make changes right now. Do we need to change your plan? Do you need to do more research and find another provider? Because you're not, I want to make money in business, but I want to love what I do. And when those two
Hmm.
collide, you scale. Like
Right.
that's just how it works. You're not going to scale being miserable in business because it translates. But when you have a new client come in and part of the consultation learning, I flat out ask them, "What are your expectations at today's appointment? And what are your expectations down the road if we do a treatment plan?
Hmm.
Like what are you expecting to see? What are you expecting from me? What are you expecting to see in your skin, but also from my business? I just want to know, what are your thoughts? What did you think about my business before you came in? Like, what did you think we'd be doing today? Go over all of that with me. I want to know where they're at. And then I tell them like what I actually do and like I answer all those things for them while I'm asking. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I also asked them if they were going somewhere else, whether it was a dermatologist, another professional, why did you leave that place? What did you
Yeah.
not like about that place? Where did they fall flat on the expectations? And what was the ultimate factor that made you leave? And I asked that, and I don't really go into more detail. Oh, I think that's my phone. I'm sorry. Well, like I was saying, I want to know those things, and I don't go into more detail if they're like, oh, I went to so and so, and like I know who that person is. I'm
Hmm.
never gonna be like, oh, ugh, like I don't like
Yeah.
them either, whatever. I'm just like, okay, like I can see why you felt that way. This is how I do things. I really set those really good expectations up front, and 99.9% of them love it. It's very authoritative, but it's
Right.
also they just respect what I do and they feel like their time and money is being well
Right.
spent.
No, and I absolutely love that you do that too. I do that too, to a certain extent, because we need to know the reason why they left,
Yeah.
and
What
if it's
happened?
something, yeah, like what happened, and it's not to be nosy or to pry. And that's another thing too, like, don't be shy when you're
No.
doing these consultations. Don't be shy. And I always tell them, I like my client, like when I'm doing these initial consultations, I'm like, look, I'm not trying to pry, but it's just for me to be able to give you better, just better overall expectation, or like, exactly like how I do things in return,
It's
right?
also not just about making sure that you're a good fit for the client, like
Hmm.
making sure the client likes you and wants to use
Yeah.
you.
That, yeah.
You're also trying to make sure that you want to work with this
Right.
client.
That they're a good fit for you.
You
Hmm.
understanding too that every client that walks through the door is not going to be ideal is super important important. I'm trying to figure out in my questions that I ask in my consult, is this my ideal client? Are they someone that aligns with the rest of my clients that are here and how we structure appointments and how we structure the schedule and the availability left on my schedule because it is more slim. If they don't align with what that availability is, and that's the issue with the girl from yesterday, she just wants to, she's like, oh, I'm only here for like the next 3 days. I'm like, girl, I don't have like any openings. Like you're
Yeah.
just now reaching out. So she just doesn't align with the current schedule with my current clients. So I'm trying to find out those things as well, but that's ultimately why she didn't answer back because she had told me that in a previous conversation. I only visit Texas a very small
Right.
amount of time. So I try to get in with you while I'm here, but there's just not enough notice happening for us to get her in. So maybe later on down the road, she will see enough value in us to give us more notice so that we can plan that and help her. But just everybody that reaches out is not going to be the best client. And you have to
Right.
know that, and deciding what are the questions you need to ask in consultation to know if this is a good client. And that's what I talk about in my course. Every question is planting the seed for them to be a great client for longevity or for you to see that they're not. Because I've definitely had my fair share of clients come in and I'm like, well, tell me why you left that last provider. And based on their answer, I can tell that they either got fired from a provider, that provider is my friend, I will just reach out myself and find out what went down. Or they just have terrible expectations as to what we do as facialists, med spas. They want a facelift, basically, with just facials. That is possible, but it's going to take a very long time. Or they have a very limited budget, but they want facelift benefits. That just doesn't align. So I'm trying to figure that out in consultation as well.
Right. So, point is to make sure you're asking the right questions. To manage expectations is to communicate everything up front,
Yes.
and clients will respect clarity.
Have it on your website. I have an FAQ page. I have a shipping policy page because I do a lot of online shipments, and there's lots of time, not lots of times, thankfully. I'm like, knock on wood. Occasionally, I have someone reach out and it's like, post office didn't deliver it, although it shows delivered. I'm not responsible for that. You need to contact the post office and make a claim with them so they can handle that for you. That's stated. I also do not do returns. I had somebody reach out one time, like 4 or 5 months after purchasing an Omnilux. It's like, I want to return it. And I'm like, girl, it's 4 or 5 months. But also, and it was because she was having like some perioral dermatitis, which if you're in the skin world, that could literally be from anything. Fragrance, nail polish, like it's not necessarily the Omnilux. But it, number one, had been so long after. And number two, I can't do anything with it if you return it. I'm not a $1 million company that has insurance to take returns and give me back that loss if I make an end of the year insurance claim on all the returns, the damages. So all of that's very clearly stated on my website too. It's stated in my policies when they sign their forms. Everything is just very, very upfront, or I have something I can provide them to circle back to.
And you want to put everything in writing, right?
To an extent. Because
Well,
sometimes
yeah.
I do see some starter businesses be like very crazy in their policies and be like, do not knock on my door. Guys, we're not
Like,
putting that in the policies. Put a do not knock sign on your door. Simple fix. Everything as professional as possible. Again, use things like Google AI or use ChatGPT to look at what you have and ask them to refine it, polish it, make it the utmost professional. You want to really put out there that you're the authority figure. You want to put out there that you're someone to be respected. Put all of that into the AI generators to help you with your policies. But yeah, you do want to have, number one, talk about everything up front, but number two, have something they can circle back to and see those policies.
Right.
I also too, not only do I have them sign a second time for my late cancellation policy, I go over it with them in person.
Good.
We're going to pre-book you. This is our loyalty program. If you pre-book and keep it, which I covered in the Patreon, what that looks like. We have a 48-hour cancellation policy, and I flat out tell them, letting me know 48 hours is not a make good. That is for you to not get a fee. That doesn't make it good on my end. I still have to work hard to fill that spot. So after 2 consecutive cancellations, booking opportunities will close. And they're like, no, okay. They're like, it's not 24. And I'm like, no, it's 48. I was like, it's still really hard to fill a spot with a 48-hour notice. 24 is damn near impossible, even with someone like me who has a wait list. So 48 hours helps you avoid a fee. However, it is not a make good on our end. After 2 consecutive, we will close booking opportunity.
I love that you have that too, because then people will, there's people that they're just like, okay, well, just go ahead and charge me the late fee,
Yeah.
or the cancellation fee or
And I do
whatever.
have some clients like that, and I
Mhm.
tell them after the second one, we're not. Like if they text
Mhm.
me to reschedule, I just nicely remind them and I just say, "Hey, we got that rescheduled for you. Just keep in mind that after two consecutive cancellations, if you're not able to make this next appointment, we would have to close booking opportunities just to keep things running smoothly and effectively for us and our other
Right.
clients. We really appreciate your understanding. Let us know if you need any help."
Yeah. No,
And
I
I
love
never
that.
really get pushback. I'm sure
Yeah.
some people think
And
it's a little
yeah.
harsh, but I mean, I'm trying to run a
Right.
business.
And it's your time
It is
too,
my time. I'm
time and money.
also a firm believer that my time away from my family should be well spent.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm
Absolutely.
not gonna prioritize a client who reschedules or cancels frequently because I want to be at home with my family instead. We could have moved everybody up and I've been home an hour early, or we
Mhm.
could have pulled somebody off the wait list who really wants to be here.
Right.
So find an appropriate and professional way to communicate that with your client. I will also say a good thing for communicating with your client is in the text message. So I never leave it open for a response. I kind of just end it. Like I said, thank you so much for respecting these policies. If you want to review them, please check the forms that you filled out when you booked with us and let us know if you have any other questions. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yeah.
I just cut everything off every time I have to do something like that. And then it's very rare that there's back and forth.
No, I agree. I agree with all of that. That goes back to clear expectations up front, and then the reminders that you do.
Yeah, it's okay to do reminders. You
Mhm.
never want to blindside a client either. I had someone recently have to cancel very last minute, but she was giving me like not even a 24-hour notice. And I just let her know that, well, I just canceled, the system charged her, and she reached back out and was like, "Was there a fee?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes, there was a fee. We have a 48-hour policy. You let us know at the blah 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 mark. It's gonna be really difficult for us to fill a Friday
Mhm.
evening appointment with this little bit of time. So that's why that's on there. If you want to refer back to your policies, here it is." And then she was like, "Is there any way you could waive it?" I was like, "Actually, we did waive one for you when you were sick back in December of
Mhm.
2024. So I'm not going to be able to waive it moving forward."
Yeah.
She was upset and she was like, "You should at least allow one a year." And I'm like, "I'm
No.
so sorry. If I allowed everybody one a year, that's a whole month's worth of income that I would not being paid for. I'd have to come out of pocket to pay myself, my employees, and my overhead for the month. That's just not something that's reasonable to ask of a
Right.
small business. I wish you all the best on your trip. Again, if you want to look back at those policies, it's listed in the forms you
Mhm.
sign in the Vacaro app. Let me know if you need help with anything moving forward, and let me know when you're ready to rebook your appointment." I
Yeah.
just like cut it off.
Yeah. Because
Because
there's no reason to go back and
there's
forth.
no reason. It was very clearly
Mhm.
stated. She got ample reminders. I remind her in person. I've already gone above and beyond and waived it for her in
Once,
person.
yeah.
Yeah, once. I can't allow one a year. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's literally, I was trying to think about how to do the math. It's literally one whole month of appointments not going paid for,
Yeah.
but you still have to pay yourself, your
Right.
employees, your overhead, your insurance, your website, your booking site,
Yeah.
your
All
fees,
those
your
costs don't
product.
go
Yeah,
away,
they don't. So I
Yeah.
was like, that's not a reasonable ask of a small business.
Right. And it's not rude to have boundaries. It's professional, and boundaries build trust because they show you run your business with structure and integrity.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Also, if I allowed like a client like that to do that,
mhm,
it would happen again and again and
right.
again.
And then also, if someone is upset because you enforce your policies, then they're never your
They're not
ideal.
your
Yeah,
ideal client.
exactly.
And it's possible too that I'm all about seasons. It's
Hmm.
possible that they were your ideal client for several seasons. It's not going to be forever. If
Right.
you expect to outlast
That's
the normal
true.
timeline
Yeah.
of 5 years, clients are going to come and go. You really have to have the mindset that you're making space for the next wonderful, amazing client to come in, or else you're just going to stay stressed.
I do feel like to a
I'm
certain
like,
extent,
what are they going to do? Leave a bad review? And then I'm going to go on Google and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry that you're upset about the policy that we made you very aware of. We also went
right.
above and beyond and
Right.
already waived it for you once." Like the worst case scenario most of us think about is a bad Google review. Okay, just respond and say
Yeah.
what happened.
Hmm.
Your ideal client is going to see through that bad
Right.
review. They're
And they're
not
going to
going
be
to
like,
take it at
okay,
face
yeah.
value.
No, absolutely. And they're going to see your response and they're going to be like, okay, well, she gave her one free time
To
and
me, I'm like, this must be
reminders.
a really good business. She knows her shit and what she's doing. She has a
Hmm.
very strong business structure going on to where
Exactly.
the worst thing she did was somebody be
And
upset
that's
about
what
a
I was going to
fee.
say too. I feel like clients, they feel safe or just better, right? Like they just feel safe knowing that you're organized and that you're reliable when you are enforcing these policies, right? Because
Hmm.
I mean, and then you're being equal to everybody, right?
Yeah, it's not just my time, it's my other
Hmm.
clients' time who would have been here. It's time spent away from my family. So I have to think about it like that and not just say, "Oh, well,
Yeah,
client ABCD is upset with me."
right.
That happens.
Yeah. So You want to set your clear scopes in your contracts, right? And then add-ons cost extra. Include buffer time for client delays or late responses.
Also, too, I was going to say, if you decide for whatever reason to give a discount or a complimentary add-on, you have got to vocalize it.
And let them know
The
this
client
is a
does not
discount.
know. Most of them aren't even thinking, oh, my service is going to be exactly $225. They're like, I'm going to spend
Right.
$2, $3, $350. So if you're just giving like a $30 discount or a $30 add-on and they have no idea, there is no value. So for whatever reason, I mean, I don't recommend you doing that because you do need to be paid for your time, your services, your supplies. You've got to vocalize it. I came across that in mentorship a lot. They're like,
Yeah.
well, I gave her a discount. I'm like, did you tell her? And they were like, no, it is on a receipt. I'm like, shit, look at
Yeah,
that.
they're not going to look at that. Some people
Yeah.
don't even, they would say like, don't print receipt. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like they're never good. Yeah. And then make sure you're charging late fees or rush fees.
Oh
It's
my
and
God,
it's not
yeah.
about punishment.
No, it's not a punishment.
Yeah, it's about maintaining your workflow and your accountability and, paying you for the
We could
time
do
that
a
you have
whole
there.
episode on late fees and about overcoming them and all these things. But last year I collected almost $8,000 in late fees.
Yeah.
And those were 50% fees, meaning if the client committed and came into the appointment they committed to, that's $16,000.
Right.
I don't think anybody who has a regular 9 to 5 job would be comfortable with their boss coming to them and saying, hey, we're going to make you be here your full contracted time, but we're going to give you an $8,000 to $16,000 pay cut this year. Nobody would be okay with that. You don't have to be either just because you're a service provider.
Right.
And sometimes on social media, when service providers are talking about these things, I do see clients say, well, that's part of the job. It's not. Working with people who don't respect you is not part of the job. You do not feel bad charging those fees. If they leave a bad review, okay, the worst thing you've ever done in business was uphold your policies so that your time and everybody else's time was respected, and literally say that in the response, like, okay.
Yeah, that, and whenever you respect your time, your clients respect your time
Yes.
too. So they'll learn to respect it. And again, that goes back to just setting those expectations and making sure that you're not waiving these late fees or rescheduling fees or cancellation
Yeah,
fees.
in my policies, I have it in there that the late fee is applied under every circumstance. And it says that in bold, illness is not excused.
Yeah. But so you can't grow a sustainable business without managing expectations. Clarity and boundaries aren't just about protecting your peace. They're about protecting your profit too. Because then if you didn't put that 50%, then that's what, 16,000?
Yeah,
or
$8,000,
right? Yeah.
That's a lot of money to a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's a life-changing amount to a lot of people. So I'm like, no, that's a lot. And I had to be here for that time because they were not canceled in a timely manner to help me remedy that lost time. And also, I'm comfortable telling clients that when they reach out to cancel and they're like, oh, I want to reschedule. And I say, hold on, let me see what I can do to remedy this lost time on my schedule first. And I'm going to get back with you tomorrow morning about scheduling. I'm setting a healthy boundary and kind of if clients don't work by booking, they're at like a traditional 9 to 5, they just don't understand. So it's kind of like my way of saying, pause. I know you want to reschedule. I am going to help you with that. But first, I really have to make sure that I can try to remedy this in a timely manner because I only have less than 48 hours now. And I don't think that's a rude way of doing it either. I'm like, I'm going to help you and everybody else with rescheduling in the morning during that set time that I do for everybody. But right now I need to remedy this. Or when they ask about it, I'm like, yes, there is a late fee because I'm now trying to figure out how to remedy that lost time. It's all in your delivery and your communication with your clients as well. There is a professional way to deliver that for them to kind of know. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, like now you can have a lunch. And I'm like, no, thank you. Like I already have a scheduled lunch, but thank you so much for thinking about me.
And whenever we talk about client expectations and client communication, it's all done professionally.
Yeah.
Right. It's never you cancel last minute, like you're wasting my time. Like, no, absolutely not. Like there's different ways to say
it's kind of like those TikToks where they're like, how do you professionally say fuck you when they're typing at corporate? I mean, yeah, not that I think that of my clients, but so I try to think of it as like they probably don't have a job that works based off scheduled time.
Exactly.
So I've even gotten more specific with certain clients and say, I'm not going to be able to pre-book you, because I had one lady who canceled like 5 times in a row, and I was being overly gracious with her because of a home life situation she was experiencing that I had also been through. So in a way, I was like emotionally discounting myself, and I shouldn't have done it. And she took advantage of me and canceled like 5 times within 6 months, and an excessive amount. And so I finally just told her like, hey, and she's like, just move me to October. And I was like,
No.
I'm not going to be able to move you to October unless I have a 50% deposit, because you've canceled May, June, 2 in July, September, August, like whatever the frequency was. And I was like, and you're booking 60 days out. So for 60 days, I'm telling everybody else that I don't have the space available. And then right at the 48-hour mark, so that you don't get a fee, it now becomes available. So now I'm out the time. I'm trying to remedy it as best as I can. I've already lost new potential clients coming in because I didn't have it available. So I'm not going to be able to book you moving forward unless I have some insurance letting me know that my time away from other clients is going to be well spent. And like, I never heard back from her again. But I mean, that was going to happen. I would rather do that than have somebody take up a spot every freaking month
I mean,
and
she
cancel.
wasn't really like she wasn't even going through, like she was just wasting that time slot for you. You know what I mean?
On repeat, and I kept letting her.
Yeah.
And like 48 hours again is not a make good. It's just to help you avoid a fee, because we have to follow some legal parameters, and that's what that looks like. It happened to me Friday too. I had literally just told 4 people, so sorry, don't have an opening for the day you're looking at, and then the person canceled, and I was like, oh my god. Now I have to go back and backtrack and be like, just kidding guys, it's actually open now. First come, first serve. You know, it's like,
you don't want to do that.
You want it. So, and I hate that approach with clients, but that's kind of what a client who cancels without having proper planning or giving me any notice, that's what happens on my end. So I have to have some boundaries there, and that boundary looks like a fee, or me being very upfront and letting them know.
And then also, like, when you start setting those right expectations, that's when you start attracting your ideal clients and the ones who respect your process, pay on time, and value your expertise. And then you stop operating in survival mode and start operating like a CEO.
That's what I was saying, kind of like being stressed, is getting out of that. That was my thought process, is getting out of that survival mode. I don't want to live in that. And that's what's going to happen if you keep taking clients stuck in survival mode. You're not opening yourself up to all the wonderful clients that are out there. There's tons of estheticians that make tons of money, like over $1 million a year, hundreds of thousands a year. I don't know why other newer estheticians or smaller estheticians don't think that could be them either.
No, it absolutely can.
And also too, if making $1 million or whatever is not your goal, you just want sustainability, what does that look like for you? Does that look like 100,000 a year, 6 figures a year? And I mean what you take home, not what your business brings in, because those are two very different things, and we're going to break that down in a whole nother episode. But if you're someone who just wants sustainability, what does that look like to you? And you still implement these same boundaries to get there, just on a smaller scale. But that is all for today's episode. So we'll wrap it up and see you over on Patreon. So thanks for tuning in to Scaling Beautifully. We hope today's conversation gave you some clarity and confidence to keep your beauty business, to keep building your beauty business a smart way. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on an episode. And if you love today's topic, share it with another beauty pro who's ready to scale. But until next time, keep serving your clients with passion and running your business with purpose.
And if you're loving the podcast, we'd love for you to join our community beyond the audio. Head over to our YouTube channel where you can watch full videos, episodes, and behind the scenes content. And if you want to go even deeper, check out our Patreon. That's where we share bonus trainings, downloadable resources, and exclusive Q&As to help you scale beautifully. You'll find the links in the show notes. So not to rush the ending, but definitely part 2 of this will be on the Patreon.
We're going to go a little bit more in depth.
And then we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Okay, guys. Bye.